Hello everyone, hope you're well this evening. Decided to do a burst of light broadcast. Title of the broadcast is one moment. Decided to do a burst of light broadcast. There we go. Decided to do a burst of light broadcast. Hello, Stacy. Hello, Ruthie, Elwood, Jonah. What's up, JP? Tony Meharry, Faye, Jason, Allie, Elwood, Maria. Wow, nice crowd. Welcome, everybody. So today I decided to do a broadcast, and didn't know exactly what to name it. And in my recent past, I come across a few people who wanted to know about writing, how to go about it. So welcome everybody. Hello David Harden, hello Cheryl. Doug DeJong. What's up Fat Cat? Kenneth. Alright y'all, tonight's presentation is about write that bestseller. Everybody has a book in them. Everyone. This is not necessarily about writing a book. It's about writing the story of your life. But I did title this broadcast from the perspective of those who are actually wanting to write a physical book. I'm already channeling because I had no intention or any idea I was going to be speaking about cupping this, paralleling this with your life. Everybody has a book inside of them. Hello, Woody. Everyone has a book inside of them, the story of their life. Even if you want to write a book of a fictitious nature, it is still the story of your life. Hello, Mr. Lou Nesta, my bro. It is the story of your life, whether you write a physical hard copy or you're writing your life. When I was in school, that didn't last very long into my upper grades, I failed English 2 4 times. I failed English 2 4 times. Let me say that again. I failed English 2 4 times as the reason I quit school. I failed typing twice. Had no idea that in my future, many years after school, that I would go off to write this book that became a bestseller in a matter of 4 hours. Then I went to India and wrote this book, which took me 15 years. 15 years. This book is about seeing that holy man back there. And my third installment, I was playing music. Ronnie, hello brother. The first book took me 8 years. I would write from 12 noon to 6, sometimes night at night, almost every day. I would be in meditation, asking very sincere, heartfelt, I love humanity questions. And I'd have conversations with Spirit. Then I wrote the second book. And then one night I was playing music. Hello Reggie, hello Jennifer. One night I was playing music at TJ Mulligan's in Cordova. And we just finished our last song and I couldn't wait to get to the bathroom to do my business. And on the way to the bathroom, I have a complete story downloaded into my consciousness about my son, whose name is Eden Sky. By the time I walked out of that bathroom, I had the whole story in my head. Got home, immediately started writing the story. Wrote it in about 30 minutes. And then, of course, I had to clean it up. And it became a book about my son, or dedicated to my son. My son is Eden Sky. That's his name. So the book is called Eden Sky Wonders Why. The first installment is How Do I Get to Heaven? Because I heard some children talking one day at school about what they thought the path was to get there. So in the installment of my children's book series, my son would come home and ask me this question. Dad, I overheard some of my friends talking about how to get to heaven, that you have to be good and this and that. So I modeled this series of this children's book about my son, Eden Sky Wonders Why. As if my son came home after overhearing some of his friends talking about this and poses me, his single father, this question. And so I began to explain it to him in such a way. So the point of this broadcast, write that bestseller. Write the story of your life. I mean it towards writing a physical book, but also writing your life. Keep in mind, as I said just a bit ago, I failed English 2 4 times as to why I had to quit school, and failed typing twice. These are the skills you need to write a book, so they say. Hello, Brandon. Hello, Mike Crutchfield. Dr. Steve Stone. MJ. So I had no skills for writing until something came along. God, Spirit. Heck, we can even replace the name God or Spirit with passion or desire. Because in that period of my life, a passion, the greatest passion, and desire came into my experience. When I felt prompted to start writing, of course, I go into doubt mode. Keith, you don't have the skills to write a book. So I told myself, self, are you going to attempt to take on writing a book about God at that? I didn't know what to do with it. All I know is I liked the idea of being a writer, the benefits of it, the accolades of it, to further my work into that field. A lot of people in my recent past asked me, Keith, how did you do it? There is no how to do it book. There is no writing a bestseller for dummies. It does not exist. What it takes is to sit down and start doing it. That is the first step. Chris Stevenson, Nick Klein. The first step to writing an actual physical book or the story of your life to become a bestseller in the physical world, as if you were writing a book, or to become a bestseller in your spiritual life, is to sit down and start fashioning it. Fashioning it. What a juicy word. Fashioning it. Fashion. Putting it together. Make your life into a fashion. You don't have to know how to do it. Don't worry in the beginning of writing your physical book, if that's what you want to write, or in writing the story of your life to be a bestseller when it is completed, is one, to sit down and begin the process. Two, don't worry about the end result. The end result will take care of itself once you begin to sit down and start writing your physical book or your spiritual book. In the book of love. And each one's Each person's life is a story that will come. How's this? Everybody's life is a sentence that will come to an end after a period. Everyone's life is but a sentence that will come to an end after a period. A life sentence, a period of time, but yet we have to close off our life sentence with an actual grammatical period. Hello, Melody. Hello, Nathan. Ron. So for those who are just arriving, the presentation is Write That Bestseller. And we just started how to go about that. Writing a bestseller as a physical book or writing the story of your life. And becoming a bestseller, metaphorical or analogous, to leaving this world with no regret and leaving so blissfully that you left a legacy behind. You left your story behind that can inspire other people when they learn about your life via a physical book. Or via simply by the mark you left when you exited. You have to sit down and begin to write it. Don't worry about the goal. Will I ascend to another level bestseller status? Or will I ascend to another level spiritual status and getting to a higher plane of existence when my book becomes public? The end of the story will take care of itself, but you have to start at the beginning, create the middle of it, the context and the content, so you can eventually get to the end, because you will eventually get to the end of your life. Jonah says, "What's up, my man? Throw some knowledge on me." Hello, Angela. Begin to write the story of your life. We're all doing it. We're all doing it. But when we write the story of our life consciously, on purpose, every day you do it on purpose, not just wake up and go about the motions wondering what life is going to bring about. That is called wonderment, and that's a cool thing. But in wonderment is consciousness. Wow, today is bringing me such a fascination and joy. I'm in awe just by being a part of it. But also being in wonderment as you write the book of your life, your physical book, that you write from a space of wonderment. Wow, that just popped into my head. Like I'm doing it right now, channeling. I'm channeling spirit. I have no dialogue. This stuff is just popping into my head. And if I was writing a book, an actual book, I'd be going, wow, this is coming into my head. And that kind of wonderment and amazement keeps the gate open, and you will not have writer's block if you're writing a physical book, nor would you have a block in clarity of your physical human life, helping you to connect to the spirit, to where you're no longer living in a block and confusion. But if you find yourself in a block or confusion, confusion is actually a good thing. How is that, Keith? Because confusion could mean that two things are coinciding. They're fusing together. They're confusing. So confusion means, on the other side of confusion is a phoenix that rises into a state of explosive clarity. You have to sit down and begin to write the story of your life, or to sit down and begin to write that bestseller that you're wanting to write. Begin to write it. Don't worry about the end. The end will take care of itself. Number 3, don't worry about punctuation. Don't even worry about the grammar that you're putting in your book as you write it. Don't worry about the grammar you use as you live your life, because you were told not to say the words shit or fuck, or it's all irrelevant and erroneous, and it's nonsense. Don't worry about the grammar of your book, and nor worry about the grammar of your life of always trying to be politically correct and offend people. Because the book that you write that could offend people if they picked it up to read it, those who are offended are not going to be drawn to your work in the first place. And the people who are drawn to your physical book that you wrote, that bestseller, they're going to understand and get you at the very beginning, because they know that you're not coming from a place of blasphemy or being nasty or being vulgar or cussing. They understand that you're using a word consciously and deliberately to make a point, a very valid point. You say the F-bomb, it is an attention getter. And then you can deliver what you really have to say. Lou Nesta says, after having 4 mini strokes, I have to rely on supernatural recall to Rembrandt. Yes. Faye says, I'm too old to start being 54. I have so much to write. You will find, Faye, that as you write, in your connecting to spirit, whether you're writing a book about anything, about fishing, or about, if it's a cookbook, it doesn't matter. We have to be connected to spirit to be able to do that. Because if you are in a creative process, writing your bestseller, or in the creative process, writing the story of your life as you live it, meaning you're living your life, so you want to leave behind the best story possible, you have to be connected to spirit to do it. You take spirit out of the equation, nothing exists. Nothing exists. Because if you are in creative mode, we have to be connected to creator to do it. Everything ever created has happened already, that has ever happened, is happening now, or will ever potentially be created, exists in this moment. So as you write that book about fishing, or your cookbook, or you want to leave a beautiful, amazing story and legacy about your life, when we intend to connect to the reservoir of where all imagery and where all stories exist, and stories we never even thought possible, by intentionally sitting down to write your bestseller or your best life, it starts with doing it. And not worrying about the end result. They say that in spirituality. It's not the goal, it's the journey. And from these perspectives, you will always be clear and not have writer's block or have confusion in your life. Don't worry about grammar. Don't worry about punctuation. If you're writing, in these two regards, your bestseller, your physical book, or your story of your life, don't worry about punctuation. Write it consciously. Let it come through you. Be the channel for a beautiful story that you want to tell other people, and lift them up with it. Now, as you're writing, if you feel that you have a period you need to place, or in your actual life that you feel that you should pause, add a period. But it's not necessary. You can always come back to do it. Because you can bet when you write that book, or as you live your life, and you reflect on your life, so you can refine your process, you might add a comma, add a period, take out the period, put a semicolon, add another fragment of a sentence, and end with the period there. This is analogous to how you write the story of your life. Step up another rung of Jacob's ladder, the spiritual ladder, the spirit ritual ladder, the spirit ritual, the spiritual ladder. We curve back to see how we do. As we step up another rung on the ladder, we look back to see how we do. And next thing you know, the book that you're writing, the bestseller, but the life that you're living becomes expanded, and it becomes refined, and you become refined. And now you're really starting to get a handle on it. Your writing tools begin to sharpen. And I don't mean your writing tools, I mean your writing tools. Your writing tools. And for those out there who have no intentions of writing a book, Write one. I'm absolutely, trust me, I am literally daring you to write a book. Not necessarily a book that you're actually going to publish, because that would be a goal. Don't write for the goal. Write for the sake of writing, whether you're actually considering writing a book, love the idea, want to, and are doing so, or those who are not really wanting to do that, but write every day. Write 3 paragraphs. I'm a typer because my penmanship is pretty poor. I suggest writing it with a pencil because it's making love to the physical world from bringing your spirit manifested through your entire body down your arm into a tool that expresses your thoughts. This morning, I look forward to this day because it's my daughter's birthday. And I plan to take her this, da-da-da. And next thing you know, today was tomorrow, I look forward to, make it 3 paragraphs. Your intentions for the day, midday, how things are unfolding, the chapter of your life is unfolding, how the chapter of that bestseller that you're writing is unfolding. And at night before you go to bed, what a beautiful meditation. What a beautiful meditation. Light a candle, some soft music like you're hearing, close your eyes, connect, and write about how your day unfolded. How that chapter and your bestseller unfolded. And you will realize they are exactly the same. They are congruent with each other. They're exactly the same thing. Do this for a month and watch what happens with your dialogue with God. And I don't mean having the angelic bells and whistles, huffy puffy thoughts. That is possible. But I'm talking about what happens inside of you. Your writing will get clearer. You will become even more passionate about it. And now you're looking forward to doing it every day. And you feel connected to something that you would not have felt that connection if you did not sit down with the intentions of pouring out your soul on paper, in a document, and or into the physical world we call your life. And people become affected by that. It's about sitting down and beginning to write. You don't have to know what to write. It will come. In fact, don't go into it without a subject and not knowing what to write. Hello, Vicky. Hello, Fran. Amanda. Not knowing what to write. Just sit down. In fact, don't even let a thought come in until you sit down and go, watch what happens. The story, the soul will tell you what to write. And if it goes in different directions, don't try to control it. Don't try to pigeonhole it. Don't try to force it. Chris Cook, my brother. Don't try to force the direction of your writing. Analogous to spirituality. Don't try to force the direction of your life. The soul will tell you what to write. If you're writing a physical book, the soul will tell you what to do or your best move. Don't control it. Let it flow. Let it flow. Let it flow. In spirituality as well as your physical writing your book life. Just let it flow. And the direction it will take, no matter how many twists and turns it takes, 3/4 through the way of your book, 3/4 through the way of your life from this point forth, if you begin to live your life consciously in writing your spiritual bestseller before you lay your body down and leave your legacy, will tell you what it's about. And then you can begin the refinement process of starting to dovetail, of starting to level off, of slowly starting to decline what all this meant. So in the golden chapters of the book, the last 3 chapters. So in the golden chapters of your spiritual, physical, open-eyed life on this planet, the last 30 years of your life, the last 3/4 of your life will tell you what it's all about. You will find absolute peace and grace in closure. You will find 3/4 through the way of your book, your bestseller. 3/4 through the way of it, you will find closure with your bestseller, future bestseller, because you will know the direction and what it all meant. And everything in the content and everything in the context, the subjects about it, everything that's valuable about it will say, this is what it all meant. And you're consciously writing that book, and you're consciously writing the story of your life. This is what it means and or what it meant and or means. And now you can close the physical book, and you will also feel comfortable about closing the chapter that you call your life sentence. Everyone has a life sentence that comes to an end after a period. After a sentence, a period always follows a sentence. So when you reach the end of your chapter, end of your book, it will have written itself. So why not write a physical book? As you write the story of your physical, spiritual life, it's a joy. It'll illuminate you. It'll open up gates within you you never thought possible until you actually sit down and start the process. That's it. Open up a Word document. Open up a notebook. Open up your heart and do them all together, because they are exactly the same thing. You know why Facebook live streaming videos are so popular? Not only because everyone wants to be a star. Everyone already is a star. But the reason the rest of us, or everyone else, loves watching those Facebook live stream videos is because everyone wants to know the story of your life. Enos Thibodeau, my old childhood friend who I have not seen since I was about 14. How are you, bro? It's because everyone wants to watch these Facebook live videos because they're interested in knowing the story of everybody else's life. We call it socializing, which seems to have a negative connotation. I don't see it that way whatsoever. We all love each other. It's about unity. We leave socializing outside. We come back inside of our house. We turn on social media. Because we like being connected. Because we are connected. And we watch these live feeds because we want to know other people's stories. People want to know your story. Tell your story. Your good, valuable, uplifting, saving yourself, saving the world, saving humanity. Write that story. Jumpanelle, there is a story that lives in you. So trust me when I tell you, instead of your life being dictated by the story in the head, the monkey in the mind, the ooh, ooh, ah, ah, the ego, the noise, the right and the wrong, the devil and the angel, the yakking, the yammering on of the mind, the monkey mind that never shuts up. You better do this, you better not do this, you can do this, you can't do that. That's noise. Give that monkey a banana, and because his mouth's full of banana, he can no longer speak. So what do? Is you begin to live in this place. And you will no longer hear that monkey, but you need to give him the attention he wants by saying, please just be quiet. I want what you want. But if you could get it, obviously you would already have it. But you don't. And if you shut up long enough, I will get it, and I will let you know when I have it. And then you can have it too. The monkey has a banana. He becomes quiet. And when you sit down to write the story of your life from this place, rather listening to the monkey scream at you an entirely different story, it's running in the background like an unconscious script. Whether we know it's there or not, it is there. And it's yammering on behind the scenes. So that is an unconscious story. The one that lives here. I was taught, but no, you don't understand. My mom and dad said, I'm not saying it's not beautiful. I'm just saying it's just a story. Is that story uplifting, wholesome, contributing? And if that story is, then that's a story from this place. I'm talking about the other stories. The one that we are not aware of, that is dictating our lives. Like a mental Hitler. When you start writing a book, start writing your story deliberately and consciously, you won't hear this anymore because you are here. Seems like this place is lower than this one, and this one's higher because of linear mathematics. No, it doesn't work that way. This place is actually higher than this place. So when you dwell on this place and write this story, you can't hear this one because you're elevated above the mind. Hello, my sister Mary Blanchard. So I am giving this presentation about writing. Sitting down and writing your bestseller, potential bestseller, or sitting down to write a diary or a memoir, or just writing to vent. And you can take those, even though you're not interested in writing a physical hard copy book. Just write. And next thing you know, it can take shape in such a way and to physically congeal and manifest itself that you have something to offer people. And someone, you may say, you haven't seen in a while, what have you been doing? I've been working on this idea of a book. And they may say, let me read it. And you go, well, I don't want anyone to read it. And they convince you, oh, come on, let me read it. And they read it. And it's something they needed. And it levels them. And they just so happen to have a pocket full of money. This is one aspect of what could happen. And they say, wow, let me help you publish this jewel of a piece of your life. Hello, Dal. Hello, Bubs. And you go, are you serious? And they say, absolutely serious. Get an editor. I'll pay for it. That's how it works. Let's apply that to your spiritual human life. As we expand and change our lives and we move into service, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. As we expand our lives and move greater into service, helping other people, just being a decent, even being noble, being a better human being today than I was yesterday. And tomorrow I will be an even better human being because I'm expanded. I'm working on my book, the book about my life. Physically, but also a spiritual book about how I'm going to better myself. And you go get an editor, a spiritual teacher. And they give you some grammar to use, or some punctuation for your book, or some punctuation for your life. And it begins to take form. And you do something good. You let someone know about an aspect of who you are. If you were writing a book. But someone who can also support you and back you by saying, I love the spiritual being that you are and the spiritual work that you are doing. Can I put you on a speaking tour? Can I help you to create a facility that brings people of all nationalities together? There is no difference of writing your physical bestseller and writing the bestseller of your greatest life. Hello, J.R. Nake. Carol. Sit down and write a book. A real book. Took me 8 years. I would write every day between 6 and 9 hours from 12 noon, sometimes 9 at night. This one took me 15 years. This may seem like a bragging point for Keith. Okay, I'll take my kudos. That is not the point. I am very much aware of who I am and very comfortable in my skin. I'm saying this to bring home the lesson. It's just a matter of wanting it and living it and being it and putting periods and commas and semicolons and exclamation points in your life on purpose. On purpose. Key word. Purpose. Because when we go from those two models of being sincere and feeling it, that would be purpose. We would be then on purpose. And the story will write itself. Okay, what about the next phase? What about publishers? That is part of the goal. Get out of goal mentality. Be in journey mentality. Be in writer mentality. Be in the creator of writing your book mentality. Being the creator of creating your life mentality. I use the word mentality, but I really mean emotionally, the heart. The place. Do you know that what lives inside of all of us is that which creates worlds and universes and everything within them all? That lives right there. In the gate, in the sacred heart, in the cosmic womb where God and Jesus, Buddha, well, all that means anything whatsoever lives there. All that lives in there. And all that it requires, it's not about church on Sunday, but that is cool. All that is required is the posture you often see me take. And then you will find the story about what you're going to write in your book. The life you're going to write about, the life you're going to live, lives in there. That's how you write a bestseller. You can choose not to believe what the outside world is telling you. Well, Keith, you have to go through these literary agents. You got to go through this and that. On the spiritual side, well, Keith, you got to go through these people who say that if you don't have a degree in this particular thing, you won't get a job. That is part of the noise we were taught. It's part of the noise that we are buying into. Now, I understand that you might have to have a literary agent involved or a spiritual teacher involved if it's writing your bestseller in a hard copy or if it's writing your best life. You might have these involved until you develop and gain the momentum and the power and the confidence and the alignment that you no longer need a literary agent or a spiritual teacher. For example, let's just use Michael Jackson, Prince, anyone in the music industry who's gained some sort of bang for themselves. Once their record contract ends, they no longer need a record contract. So they brought themselves to the level. It's all about the momentum and the force, the life force that is behind them, pushing them along, creating a cosmic wave. Hello, Tammy. Hello, Lisa. Same in the spiritual world. If you want to write the story of your life, and you might need a spiritual mentor for a while, until you develop your own life force consciously and a momentum behind you, and that you get the writing process, whether you're writing a physical bestseller or whether you're writing the story of your life, once you've gleaned enough knowledge and enough intuitive wisdom, because you're now connected, you no longer need the literary agent or the publishing houses, nor do you no longer need the literary agent or the publishing house or your spiritual teacher or your mentor. It's all the same thing, as above, so below. Hello, Diane Powers. See my point? Write 3 paragraphs every day. Whether you want to write a physical book, whether you want to write the bestseller of your life, your best life. Wake up in the morning, write until you feel you're complete for the morning. Today I look forward to it because I'm alive. And I'm going to start by saying, God, thank you so much for this very first breath, this conscious breath, mind you. Now that you took in a conscious breath, you connected to God. You just used your breath and being grateful to connect to Spirit and being recognized by Spirit. And then you feel the joy in your body being answered by just simply saying, thank you, God, for this breath. And you feel the joy in your body. God says you're welcome. So now the rest of your day, you become aware of your breathing all the time and just being grateful for breathing. And God will be in your body every day, all day long. And then you sit down and begin to write what you're looking forward to about your day. It's my son or my daughter's birthday. Oh, today I get to start my new job. You write this. You look forward to the day. And during lunch break, or if you don't have a job or whatever, you speak it into a dictaphone. Write it out, a paragraph about the unfoldment of your day. That could be a physical book, or the unfoldment of your life, because you're reflecting on your life and how grateful you are. And at the end of the day, write into your physical book that you hope one day to be a bestseller, how your day unfolded and what alignment, what aligned with what you intended and what didn't. Don't beat yourself up for what didn't. Just do it again. Find it. Edison wasn't upset at himself for the 99 ways that he couldn't figure out how to create a light bulb. He just learned that these are 99 ways that you don't go about using to create a light bulb. And at the end of the day, you write a closing of that chapter. Make your life into chapters. Your books are into chapters. You will find a closure after every chapter of your life if you intentfully sit down and write it. Hello, Madeline. It's about being conscious and writing your physical book. And watch the book that begins to take shape. It's about being conscious of writing every chapter of your life as well. Because as you reflect on every chapter of your life and intentionally want to write it to be flawless, having certain commas that create a feel, there are periods that create a feel, that has exclamation point that creates a declaration. And when you're done with that, you go, wow, I can close this chapter of the book. Or I can close this chapter of my life and feel whole and complete. Hello, Pamela. Hello, Mark. Hello, Cheryl. Write that book you want to write. Whether you publish it or not is irrelevant. Write that story that you want to write about your life as being a human being, because you're a spiritual being first and a human being second. Write that story and leave behind a legacy for people to go not only to the library here on earth to find your book, so one day, even after you're gone, they can read it and glean wisdom from it. But people in the spiritual realm could go to the Akashic Hall of Records, which is a cosmic library, whether you believe that this place exists or not. And people can go to the Akashic Records and pull the book out, that library, and open it up, and to read an energy of your life, the legacy you are leaving behind. And you will have affected more than one plane of existence, your physical life, Two planes, your physical life, and what you are creating and extending out into the universe just by being the human being you now are. This begins to butterfly affect the entire solar system and the people around you. And the people you affect begin to affect people around them. And it becomes an ongoing, ever-expanding process. Write that book. 3 paragraphs a day. Write the story of your life. Do it on purpose. Do it consciously. Be aware. Do everything you can to not react. Reacting throws us into an experience that we don't want because we're not conscious of the fact that we were yanked into the current. And then we think from a non-clear point of view and we get writer's block in every aspect of our life. I understand when something happens, it may kick you off of your center for the moment. But do everything you can to go, whoa, get back into center. You back into center, writer's block goes away. Get back into center. The situation that is happening in your actual life, you see it with clarity. Now you have the best ploy. You can make the best ploy because you're clear. Then you can close that chapter of your life. There are no rules to writing a physical bestseller. There are no rules, dear Lord, there are no rules to writing the story of your best life. So that when you leave this world, you will have lived that best life. In essence, you will be a bestseller. And you write that physical story about your life that someone could use to read that will give them upliftment by the words you've written. Even if your book, again, is about writing about fishing, or to write that cookbook, it is all the same process. In fact, it's all the same story. The book that you leave behind, the story you leave behind, will live forever. It'll be on shelves in libraries, in the hands of your children who pass it down. My ancestor wrote this. It'll live forever. Books will die. Books will fade away. Books will ultimately turn to ash. But they will print new books about that story with new paper. Your physical body is transient as well. It will die. It will end. It will be burnt away. And other stories will be written in other people that after we leave this world, they will be born. And new stories and new chapters will be written in the cosmic universal book of love. Sign your autograph. Be proud of your work. Be proud of your play. Be proud of who you are. Be proud of what you have created. Be proud of your life. And I don't mean pride. I mean be proud. This is an awesome body of work. That is your legacy. Your obligation and your responsibility as a beautiful human being. In this moment, if you are boogered by something, it can all change. Open that up. Get out of that. Open that up. And write that bestseller. And that bestseller and that author is you. I believe in you. You have my support to write that book, but also to help you if you are in a place in your life that you need a spiritual literary agent or publisher. I am approachable. You can find me at KeithAnthonyBlanchard@gmail.com, or you can send me an inbox here. I love you.